Assalamu alaikum. I am Muhammad Asif Rahman of AC Department from ISL Engineering College. Today we are gonna deal with this topic named horn antenna. So in this session we are gonna deal with some of the topics, namely basics of horn antenna, structure of horn antenna, types of horn antenna, designing of horn antenna, applications of horn antenna. So first we are going to start with basics of horn antenna. Horn antennas are constructed by flaring of waveguide. We usually focus to have flaring to waveguide, which increases the directivity, and it also improves the impedance matching. So we will see how impedance is increased in the free space in our further video. It is directional antenna, so it can be utilized for long distance communication. It is also called as directional antenna because of it is having directional characteristics. So we are gonna proceed with the structure of horn antenna. We are gonna discuss it. So basically this part is called as a waveguide, which has the impedance range from 50 plus or minus 10 ohms. And let us consider we doesn't have this part, or let us consider that waveguide is open at this side. Then the free space of this will be, free space impedance of this will be 377 ohm. So due to the mismatch of this waveguide and free space, waveguide cannot radiate in space. So as I said, due to the mismatch of this waveguide impedance and free space impedance 377, this waveguide cannot radiate in space. So this is what is the basic problem with the waveguide. So waveguide can be utilized by transmission signal, by transmitting signal from one end to other end. When we keep waveguide open at the one end, it is not like it is radiating electromagnetic wave in space. But what happens because of free space mismatch, it does not radiate. So all we do is flaring to this waveguide in such a way that waveguide flaring that will be resulting into impedance matching, which happen due to flaring. Provide radiation in space, that is what directional directive radiation, which is happening by providing this flaring. Now question arises, why we provide flaring to waveguide? We provide flaring to waveguide to impedance matching free space, to match impedance with the free space. If we don't have impedance matching in the free space, then waveguide cannot radiate. So to have radiation to that waveguide, by adjusting flaring at one end and providing horn, which has the impedance of free space, so now it will start to radiate into space. So that is what the case which is happening. One can observe over here, like dimensions of this is small a and small b. Like this, after flaring it becomes capital A and capital B. Now this dimension, which is larger than the dimension at the waveguide, so after having the larger dimension, it radiates in space. Now it provides impedance matching by providing flaring that I just informed you right now. One more thing, it also increases directivity of this simple waveguide. Now here the question arises that how it increases the directivity. See, if you see the effective cross-sectional area of this waveguide, the cross-sectional area of this waveguide is smaller as compared to the cross-sectional area of this part which we get after flaring. As the dimensions of this part is greater than the cross-sectional area of this waveguide, so we can say that it increases the directivity. So here it covers the previous 2 points, that it increases the directivity and it improves the impedance matching. So waveguide here is having the flaring, which is also known as horn antenna, as it provides impedance matching up by flaring, so it increases the directivity. So now let us consider the cross-sectional area from the side view. For example, let us say this is X, this is Y, and this is Z plane. So I am considering the YZ plane. So as we consider the cross-sectional area of YZ plane, the horn antenna will look like this. So now if we see the distance from this waveguide to this flaring, with the distance will be considered as L. Let us consider it as L. So L is the flaring length. So now here the angle will be taken as theta E, which represents the angle of cross-sectional area with respect to electric field. Now let us see that we have three phases. Electric field, this direction is oriented as electric field, and this one with as magnetic field, and this is oriented as direction of propagation. So here cross-sectional is having with respect to electric field, so this angle theta will be as, that is, flaring angle with E plane. Now if we draw an arc from like this position to the like this and this like this, we will get an arc which is shown here, and the difference will be as it is like L, which is here, and the remaining distance will be represented as delta E. Delta E is the E plane phase difference. Here delta E is the E plane flaring difference. So here delta E plane flaring difference. So here theta A is with respect to YZ plane, and delta E is also with respect to YZ plane. So if we are taking like a magnetic for magnetic field, we need to consider XZ plane. So this will become theta H, that is flaring angle with H plane, and delta H, that is H plane flaring difference. So as we know that in the place of Y we are having electric field, in the place of X we are having magnetic field, in the place of Z we are having direction of propagation. So to calculate the distance, that is length, we can consider this triangle and we can calculate it by using Pythagoras formula, Pythagoras theorem. So here we will get L square. Here we can take A by 2. Here we have two distances, that is L and delta E. So L plus delta E whole square equals to L square plus A by 2 whole square. So by Pythagoras theorem we got this, and by opening this all brackets we will get L square plus 2L delta E plus delta E square equals to L square plus A square by 4. If we cancel this L square, we will get 2L delta E plus delta E square equals to A square by 4. So here if I say delta E is small and delta square is very very small, so if we can say that we can neglect this delta E square. So if delta E is very very small, so neglect delta E square, so we'll get 2L delta E is equals to a square by 4. So from here we can say this L equals to a square by 8 delta E. So here we have found out the length of this distance from waveguide to the flaring. So this was the length of the with respect to electric field. So if we consider for magnetic field, it will be length L is equals to a square by 8 delta H. So now we need to focus about the limitations of horn antenna with respect to electric field and magnetic field. So now when we are designing the horn antenna, we need to mainly focus on the limitations. That is, for electric field delta E, that should be lower than 0.25 lambda. Then the value of lambda delta H should be less than 0.4 lambda. So we need to mainly focus on these two limitations when we are going to design this horn antenna. If we do not mainly focus on this, then this horn antenna will not function as we want it to be. So these values should not be exceeded from this 0.25 lambda and 0.4 lambda. If we exceeded from these values, then this horn antenna will not function properly. In order to perform perfect functionality of this horn antenna, we need to keep less than or equal less than to this two values. So now we are going to proceed with the types of horn antennas. So these are the basically different types of horn antennas. So here this is the waveguide, and here I have provided flaring with respect to this electric field. So now we can say this figure as sectoral E-plane horn. So in this plane we have provided the flaring with the direction of H plane. So this is known as sectoral H plane horn. So now here this is the if we applied in both the direction, this will be shown as this will figure out like this, like it is known as pyramidal horn. And now here if flaring is done in circular direction, then it is given as this, and it is known as conical horn. So now we will gonna proceed with another topic, designing of horn antenna. So half power bandwidth of E plane will be given as 56 degrees by A lambda, that is given in degrees. So where A lambda is equal to A by lambda. Half power beamwidth for H plane is given as 67 degrees by B lambda degrees. B lambda is equals to B by lambda. Fractional beamwidth with E plane, that is given as 115 degrees by A lambda, and fractional beamwidth H plane is given as 170 degrees by B lambda. So in order to calculate the gain, the total overall gain of this horn antenna is given as 4 pi AE by lambda square into neta. Here neta represents the efficiency of the horn antenna, lambda is the wavelength, and A is the effective area of aperture. So now I am going to conclude this session with this last subheading, that is applications of horn antenna. Horn antenna are basically used in microwave engineering, feed for parabolic reflector, and short range radar. So that's all for this today's session. I hope you loved the video, and thank you for watching.